So ADA has been trading sideways for the last few days now, and I mentioned how I was tracking a WXY structure, and it's possible that this structure would form the Y wave, where I'm looking for that Y wave to tap into this region between 62.45 cents to 64.73 cents. And it's still possible that we are within this X wave made up of a WXY structure, and so we could see a low where we then tap into this region sitting between 53.65 cents to 54.74 cents. And I also mentioned how it was possible that we had a bear flag setup in play, with this being the flag and this being a pole, where that pole also taps into this Y wave target. And so what I'll do is I'll break down what has taken place within this recent move to the downside. So if I go on the 5-minute chart, and straight away I can see the choppiness of this structure, which tells me that this is a corrective move. And so what I'll also do is remove some of the things that we don't need, such as this target here, which we ended up tapping into. So I'll remove this, and I'll remove this, and I'll remove this. And what I'll do is I'll mark out the local top, because it looks like we had a double top set up over here. So this level ended up reaching 59.09 cents, and this level ended up reaching 59.1 cents. And so I'll mark that level out. And so it looks like what we had form over here was a WXY structure, with this being a W wave, X wave, and a Y wave. And then we had that move to the upside. Bear in mind, this Y wave ended up reaching this level at 57.98 cents. And then we had this correction move that played out, where we ended up reaching 59.1 cents, followed by another push to the downside. And so essentially what ended up forming was a WXY structure, with this being a W wave, this being an X wave, and we have a Y wave that played out. So whether this Y wave is still in play or is complete, I'll break that down. And so what I'll do is I'll set out the Y wave target, which is typically a 1 to 1.226 retracement of the W wave. And then I'll bring this to you over here. So that Y wave would typically retrace between 1 to 1.226, and that region sits between 57.28 cents to 57.62 cents. And as you can see, we ended up tapping into that region. And so what I'll do is I'll check to see what's actually taking place within this Y wave, where, yeah, it looks like we had this WXY structure that played out, followed by an X wave and a Y wave. So if I draw that out, this was a W wave, X wave, and a Y wave. And this W wave was made up of a WXY structure. So using a fib tool, we ended up tapping into those typical requirements, where we just about extended beyond the 1.226 level, but still we still managed to form the W wave. And we had this X wave play out, which is typically a 50 to 18.2% retracement of this W wave. And then we had this Y wave. And so if I set out that Y wave target, so that Y wave would reach anywhere between 1 to 1.226. And so it's possible that we go slightly deeper towards 56.59 cents to 56.39 cents to 56.95 cents. So anywhere within this region. And so it's possible that this Y wave is still in play. But of course, we did manage to meet the Y wave target. And so at the same time, it's possible that this structure is now complete. And so we do need some further confirmation as to whether or not we still see that move to the downside, or we see a reversal followed by another push to the downside. And so what I'll do is check to see what's taking place within this Y wave here. And again, it looks like we had a WXY structure that played out. And so we didn't actually reach the 100% retracement level at 57.2 cents. However, we did meet the minimum requirement, which is the 61.8% retracement level at 57.65 cents. And so again, it's possible that this structure is complete, but we do need some further confirmation. And so in order for us to be slightly bearish, we need this corrective move to play out, followed by another push to the downside where we then tap into this region. And if we manage to extend beyond the 88.2% retracement level of this structure, then it's possible that this Y wave is complete also. And we see that corrective move to the upside, followed by another push to the downside where we then go even deeper. And this could play out within, the next couple of days. Well, the time will tell, really. And so, yeah, if I go back to the hourly chart, what you can see is on the stochastic RSI, the bulls currently have the momentum, and that is reflected given that we have seen a high. And if I go back to the 4-hour chart, we are within oversold conditions, and so again, it's possible that the bulls regain control of the market, and we see that continuation to the upside. And so if that's the case, then it's possible that we have a potential WXY structure to the upside, as opposed to this move to the downside where we then tap into this region. But of course, again, we need further confirmation for that to be the case. And also, if I go back to the hourly chart, I did draw the bear flag. And so if I was to extend this, given that we are seeing this recent price action, it's possible that we are still getting rejected at this lower trend line. And so if we do see that move to the upside and we get rejected at the lower trend line, then it's possible that we see that continuation to the downside also, where we then tap into this region. And if that's the case, then that could be a bearish signal, and it's possible that we then see a deeper move to the downside, where we then tap into this region. But of course, this is something I'm going to be tracking, and I'll keep you guys updated. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.